A number of women have come forward accusing New York's Governor, Andrew Cuomo, of inappropriate behavior. You released a letter on March 10th calling on the governor to step aside temporarily while the investigation takes place. You compared it to an investigation of a police officer or a teacher accused of inappropriate behavior. But that letter was dated before it was announced that an allegation of groping was referred to the Albany Police Department. We should note Governor Cuomo has denied these allegations. Has this new information changed your view on what the governor should do?
I think we should be focused on the interests of New Yorkers all over the state, and we need a governor who's able to focus on the business at hand. We're still struggling with a pandemic and recovery without being dragged down by these kinds of allegations and this controversy. So we should have the governor step aside, let Lieutenant Governor Hochul take over. And that, to me, would be in the best interests of people all over the state, as well as in New York City.
It is possible, theoretically, that you could win the race for mayor and Governor Cuomo could still be the governor of New York when you take office, theoretically. If that happened, how would you manage that relationship with Albany and with Mr. Cuomo?
My job will be to deliver for the people of New York City. And to me, the interests of New York City and New York State are very much aligned. The fact is the city is the economic engine of the state. So we have to get on the same page. There are all of these issues that have been faltering recently because, frankly, City Hall and Albany have not had the kind of working relationship that they need to be able to solve some of the problems we're seeing in front of us every day.
I do want to ask you about universal basic income. That was one of the big issues that you talked about on the campaign trail when you ran for president.
I remember.
Yes, indeed. You proposed a UBI for New York City residents. Now, this has been criticized by one of your opponents. Eric Adams, who's the Brooklyn borough president, has referred to this as a UB-lie. Talk about this a bit, particularly in the context of the stimulus checks that are going out this weekend. Maybe there's a little bit more of an appetite for direct payments from the government in light of what we've been through with COVID, but talk about how this UBI would work and respond to Mr. Adams' criticism.
I am so grateful that tens of millions of Americans are getting $1,400 relief checks that are going to be a lifeline for so many people. And when I ran for president, Joshua, universal basic income was very, very new to many Americans. But now a majority of Americans, 55%, are for it, and 85% are for cash relief during the pandemic. My goal as mayor will be to alleviate extreme poverty in New York City. And while we can't do what the federal government can do in terms of the level of cash distribution, we can have targeted cash relief go to keep people in more stable situations. And frankly, in many cases, it's going to keep them in situations that will enable them not to wind up in various city institutions, including our shelter system, that are much, much more costly, both on a human level and an economic level.
Briefly, how would you fund this UBI? In some places, UBIs have been funded by private donations. Alaska has one funded by proceeds from oil and natural gas exploration. How would New York pay for the UBI?
Well, we're looking at targeted cash relief that would apply to hundreds of thousands of the poorest New Yorkers. And we can fund this with a combination of existing city funds and also asking Albany to close the loopholes that some significant landowners in New York have had in terms of their property tax abatements. And I'm just going to call out one of them. Madison Square Garden has a property tax abatement that's $40 million a year just for the garden. So if we close those loopholes and put to work some of the city's resources, we can pay for targeted cash relief for the people who are struggling the most.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank all of you out there.
Thank you as always.
Thanks to at home.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for letting us into your homes during these extraordinary times.